The news in details. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi on Tuesday presided over a ministerial meeting where a number of domestic issues were tackled, including handling solid waste system. Also on Tuesday, President al-Sisi met with a delegation from the Center of Israeli and Jewish Affairs in Canada, and President al-Sisi described the visit as a step to enhance ties between Egypt and Canada and pointed to the center's distinguished status and strong relations with the Canadian decision makers in all directions. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi met on Tuesday with Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli, Minister of State for Military Production Mohammed al-Assar, Minister of Planning Hala Saeed, Minister of Local Development Mahmoud Sha'rawi, and Minister of Environment Yasmin Fouad, as well as Head of the Arab Industrialization Authority Abdelmenem al-Tarras. Presidential spokesman Bassam Radi said President al-Sisi reviewed with the Ministerial Committee responsible for handling solid waste system the ongoing executive plan for the system's management. According to Radi, the Minister of Environment said President al-Sisi had instructed to accelerate the implementation of the plan and applying the system according to the highest standards with the aim of improving environmental, health and living conditions of citizens. The Minister said there are ongoing efforts to raise people's environmental awareness on how to deal with waste materials, referring to current procedures of collecting and transferring waste materials, as well as supporting industries depending on recycled materials. Also, Radi said President al-Sisi met a delegation from the Center of Israeli and Jewish Affairs in Canada on Tuesday. The meeting was attended by Intelligence Chief Abbas Kamel as well as the Canadian Ambassador to Egypt. The head of state welcomed the delegation and praised the strong bilateral relations that bind the two countries in various domains, stressing the significance of deepening their cooperation on the political, economic, educational and cultural levels. For their part, the members of the delegation expressed appreciation to President al-Sisi, referring to the pivotal role played by Egypt to achieve stability and peaceful settlements for a number of crises in the Middle East. The Canadian officials expressed appreciation to President al-Sisi's efforts in combating terrorism and extremism. Also, President al-Sisi reviewed development projects worth £18 billion in Upper Egypt governorates on Tuesday. Presidential spokesman Bassam Radi said the President also met with the Ministerial Committee responsible for handling the solid waste system and instructed to accelerate the executive plan of the solid waste management. The head of state also directed to apply the system according to the highest standards with the aim of improving environmental, health and living conditions. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has issued a decree asking the parliament to convene for its fifth legislative session at the beginning of October. According to the official newspaper published on Tuesday, the parliament will convene on Tuesday, October 1st at 10 a.m. Cairo local time. The Ministry of Interior announced on Tuesday that the national security apparatus unveiled a plot by elements of the fugitive terrorist brotherhood organization in Turkey aimed at hitting Egypt's economy. In a statement, the ministry noted that the plot planned to target vital installations around the country, as well as the armed forces, police and judiciary, to enable the group to return to the political scene through anarchy. It revealed that data received had shown that the plot included 3 networks to smuggle funds as well as wanted terrorists to European countries via Turkey. Those networks were tasked with providing funds for terrorists inside the country to carry out their attacks. Those networks were tasked with providing funds for terrorists, and the ministry also announced that fugitives affiliated to the terrorist group in Turkey were identified and that 16 terrorists involved in the plot were arrested in Egypt. A number of passports, national and foreign currencies, and organizational documents, including plans to commit attacks, were confiscated. And the National Youth Conference launches its 8th round at the Manara Conference Center in New Cairo next Saturday, with an expected attendance of 1,600 participants. The Presidential Youth Program members, as well as university students and graduates, are to attend the conference, besides young politicians and engineers working in national mega projects. The one-day conference includes 3 sessions, including Ask the President segment. During the session, President Sisi communicates directly with the audience and answers questions presented earlier so as to raise public awareness related to ongoing developments in the country. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli met on Tuesday with a number of ministers and the head of the Development Authority for Small and Medium Enterprises to follow up on the implementation of the Decent Life Initiative. The Prime Minister confirmed full coordination between the government and NGOs to upgrade the standards of living in villages, achieve comprehensive development, improve services and create job opportunities. The Minister of Social Solidarity said that work in 145 villages would conclude by the end of the first year of the initiative. For their part, NGO officials said the work covers health, education and development fields. The Arab foreign ministers convened in Cairo on Tuesday for the 152nd ordinary session of the Arab League Ministerial Council. Following a consultative meeting, the agenda included the Palestinian cause, the Arab-Israeli conflict and providing support for the Palestinian budget. Earlier on Tuesday, the four-way ministerial committee in charge of following up on the developments in the Iranian crisis met at the headquarters of the Arab League. The meeting was headed by the United Arab Emirates with the participation of Bahrain, Saudi Arabia and Egypt. The committee submitted a draft statement on the Iranian interference in the affairs of Arab countries to the meeting of the Arab foreign ministers. It also covered developments in the Palestinian cause, the situation in Yemen, Syria and Lebanon, in addition to supporting peace and developments in Sudan, while also tackling the safety of maritime movement in the Gulf and Turkish violations of Iraq's sovereignty. On the sidelines of the Arab foreign ministers' meeting, Foreign Minister Sameh Shukri met his Jordanian counterpart Ayman al-Safadi within ongoing consultations and coordination between the two countries. The talks covered means of boosting bilateral cooperation to serve the interests of both peoples, in addition to the latest developments in the Syrian, Libyan and Yemeni crisis. They probed means to fight terrorism in the region and support mechanisms of common Arab action in the face of challenges facing the Middle East. Shukri also met with the UAE Minister of Foreign Affairs, during which the two top diplomats reviewed bilateral relations and a number of issues of mutual concern. During the meeting, Shukri hailed the strong political will by the Egyptian and Emirati sides to consolidate bilateral ties. Shukri also held a meeting with the UNRWA Commissioner Pierre Caron-Boulle and discussed means of enhancing the role of the UNRWA to elevate the burden of the Palestinian refugees. The foreign minister also convened with his Iraqi counterpart, Mohammed Ali Hakim, where the meeting tackled promoting bilateral relations and consultations towards regional development.